My name is Guy Alberghini. This is a broadcast of the United States Constitution. Each broadcast will cover a very small section of the Constitution, policies that go against that section of the Constitution, as well as possible solution or solutions. If you just go along with the bad policies, then you agree with them. And if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Welcome to this broadcast. Good seeing you again. Before we touch on tonight's topics, there's a few things we're going to go over. There's a couple countries that have or had similar problems. One country, had terrorists in it, and the president of that nation said, either you be peaceful with us or we're going to destroy you. And what we're going to do is help develop the area that you live in so you can have productive lives. The president also said there are two ways you can handle this problem. One is to destroy everyone, or two, you could try and make them your friends. The second nation, instead of trying to make them friends, looks like they're doing lots of destruction. So the first one, of course, is China with the Uyghurs, and the second one is, of course, Israel. And we need a peaceful solution there. And then on top of that, they're looking to move the residents from northern Gaza to the south. I heard a couple reasons. One reason is they're going to put in a canal from the sea to Mediterranean. I believe it's the Red Sea to the Mediterranean. And it's going to be entering the Mediterranean Sea, northern Gaza. And the second one that you just heard today is 1 billion or 1 trillion cubic feet of natural gas in the Mediterranean just off of Gaza. So the United States, Britain, France, and Israel would be controlling this new canal. They controlled the Suez Canal for about 99 years. Okay, that ended recently, and that's in total control of Egypt. Okay, so on top of all that, we have the U.S. NATO proxy war in Ukraine. Okay, you have to solve the fighting in Israel, and I'm seeing reports that very soon the United States is going to be targeting or attacking Iran. And on top of that, the United States is trying to get a proxy war against China. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, might say battlefronts that the United States and NATO would be engaged in very shortly. So this, the topic now for this recording, the first one is the 11th Amendment. So the judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state. or by citizens or subjects of foreign nations. So citizens of one state, say New York, for example, cannot sue the state of Massachusetts, and vice versa. Or citizens of subjects of foreign states or foreign nations, such as Canada, cannot sue any states in the United States. So that's the 11th Amendment. The 12th Amendment, going to read it all, it's pretty long, and then going to break it down piece by piece. The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for president and vice president, one of whom at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. They shall name in their ballots the person voted for as president, and in distinct ballots the person voted for as vice president. And they shall make distinct lists of all persons voted for as president and all persons voted for as vice president, and the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and certify and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes for president shall be the president. If such a number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed, and if no person have such majority, then from the persons having the highest number, not exceeding 3 on the list of those voted for as president, the House of Representatives shall choose immediately by ballot the president. But in choosing the president, the votes shall be taken by states, the representative from each state having 1 vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and the majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice. And if the House of Representatives shall not choose a president, whenever the right of choice shall devolve upon them, before the 4th day of March next following, then the vice president shall act as president, as in the case of the death or constitutional disability of the president. The person having the greatest number of votes as vice president shall be the vice president. If such a number be a majority of a whole number of electors appointed, and if no person have a majority, then from the 2 highest numbers on the list, the Senate shall choose the vice president. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of 2/3 of the whole number of senators, and a majority of the whole number shall be necessary to a choice. But no person constitutionally ineligible to be the office of the president shall be ineligible to that of Vice President of the United States. So first, the electors that the 12th Amendment is talking about. So the general population votes in November. The electors that they're talking about here is the members of the Electoral College. The Electoral College members vote in December. Okay, so the votes are then sealed, certified, and sent to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate is the Vice President of the United States. Okay, so for the House to have a quorum, it's 2/3 of the states. So about 33 of the states are needed to make the quorum. For the Senate to have their quorum, 2/3 of 100 senators make the quorum. So 67 senators. Okay, then no person constitutionally ineligible to the office of president shall be that of Vice President of the United States. Well, not too long ago, in the distant past, we had Vice President who you might say was very treasonous. So many years later, that Vice President actually became President. I'll let you do some research, know as to what I'm referring to. So, the 13th Amendment, neither slave nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for a crime wherefore the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So you cannot be a slave or sent to involuntary servitude if you were not duly convicted. So if you were convicted of robbery or something, the owner of that property could make you a slave or work for him or her till the equivalent money is paid back. In Section 2, Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. So it has to be passed by the House, passed by the Senate, and of course signed into law. That goes with all the bills, all the amendments. So we went over this quite a few times. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Okay, so tonight, look in the mirror and ask yourself, which one are you? Are you part of the solution or part of the problem? No, I'm working hard to be part of the solution. No, get in touch with your federal senators, federal reps. Call, email, meet with them. Your state senators, your state reps. Call, email, meet with them. Your city and town representatives, so-called leaders. Call, email, meet with them. Tell them what you want done. Be part of the solution. So far we covered the Bill of Rights, Amendments 1 through 10. This was 11, 12, and 13. And in the middle of doing research about Amendment 14, there's a lot to Amendment 14 also. 15 and 16, I'm sure you would find very interesting. So those will be on a future broadcast. And hope to see you soon. Thank you very much for watching this broadcast. As it says at the beginning of the preamble, we the people. That's you, that's myself. Are you part of the solution or part of the problem? One way to tell is if you're not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. So call, email, meet with your reps and senators, local leaders. Tell them what they should be doing. They govern with the consent of the governed, and if you don't tell them what to do, it's implied that you agree with them and they're doing what you want them to do. So thank you very much again, and look forward to seeing you to the next broadcast.